Hello friends, I'm so glad you're here with me today. Thank you. I think that no matter what our age, finding a great bargain is a rather unforgettable experience. In fact, I have a hunch that each of you could quickly remember and enjoy sharing with us your two best bargain finds. And I hope you'll do that in the comments section below because I think it would be really fun for us to share those with each other. And I just happened to be wearing a bargain I found while holiday shopping last December. This could be a bathing suit cover-up, but I like to wear it as a summer duster. It was on sale at H&M for $3. And finding great makeup bargains is also a real kick for many of us. In fact, I have here my latest bargain makeup find that I love. It's one of e.l.f.'s bite-size eyeshadows. Here it is. This one is called Carnival Candy. And I'll be using that particular e.l.f. product today. There are 8 different eyeshadow palettes in this collection, and each costs only $3. And 3 of them are absolutely on my wish list, and most of them perform really beautifully. Today we'll be exploring the question, can those of us with mature skin who are over 50, 60 or beyond look chic, upscale, and expensive if we wear our great inexpensive drugstore finds? So in today's video we'll cover and I'll demonstrate all the ways that those of us over 50 can look expensive wearing makeup that hasn't broken the bank. For those of you who are new to my channel, please let me extend a very special welcome and introduce myself. My name is Elise, and I'm a professional working makeup artist who specializes in and is passionate about helping those of us who are over 50 look like the very best version of ourselves. I recently did a Zoom makeup consultation with one woman who expressed a feeling that I hear so often. She said, "I love being a grandma, but I just don't want to look like a grandma." You'll find a new video on this channel every Thursday, and we'd love to welcome you to our family of subscribers. All you have to do is hit that red subscribe button and then click on the bell icon below the video and to the right, and you'll automatically be notified each time a new video is available. And I thank you so much in advance if you choose to do so. So without further ado, let's explore today's topic, how we can look upscale and expensive even if we're wearing some amazing drugstore makeup bargains. I'll first share with you all the ways that we can look high-end with drugstore makeup, and then I'll demonstrate these techniques. Of course, we certainly don't have to use all of these techniques or even most of them. We might select just 1 or 2 things to do and then maybe only for a special occasion. Or we may decide to give all of these techniques a try. My purpose today is to give you as many different options as possible to consider so you can choose what's best for you. So let's jump in and talk about the 10 techniques we can use to look our flawless best. The first important thing we can do is to prep our skin before putting on our makeup. This is really essential in order to have a flawless look. Second, using eye and face primer will keep both our eye makeup and face makeup perfectly in place. Third, adding glow to strategic areas of the face definitely adds a luxurious feel and look to our makeup. Fourth, adding dimension to our face with contouring or bronzing creates more contrast, which definitely gives off high-end vibes. Next, number 5, is layering 2 products together. For instance, in the demonstration, I'll be layering several different types of products. And by the way, wearing face primer and layering blushes and highlighters also helps ensure that our blush and highlighters don't fade away as the day or night wears on, which can so often be the case. Number 6 is mixing colors together to create subtle gradations of color or to create an ombre effect. It works great with blushes, highlighters, lipsticks, and especially eyeshadow. Mixing colors and diffusing those colors can make a significant difference and look stunning, since this technique helps us create a more customized look, which definitely looks upscale. Seventh, using the right brushes is important, and they don't have to be expensive brushes. They just have to be brushes with the right shape, length, and density for the specific job the brush is intended to do. Eighth, adding extra details to a look can definitely create a more high-end feel. For instance, we can create a more polished looking brow by feathering on concealer both above and below the brow area after we've filled in our eyebrows. Or we can add a slight emphasis to our lips by adding highlight above our Cupid's bow and adding a slight bit of contour below our bottom lip. Ninth, we can complete our entire makeup look by using finishing touches, such as a makeup sponge or finishing powders or even setting spray, to ensure that our makeup looks seamless. And our final technique, number 10, is we can choose to highlight one feature and keep the rest of our makeup fairly neutral. I'll be highlighting my lips and keeping the rest of my makeup pretty neutral. Well, mostly neutral, since there's one product I probably won't be able to resist adding. And here's a hint, it's one non-neutral eyeshadow color, which probably won't be a surprise to many of you who have seen some of my previous videos. Now I'll go ahead and apply my makeup so I can demonstrate these techniques that we've been talking about. I've already applied my eyebrow makeup by using e.l.f.'s Instant Lift Brow Pencil in Taupe. I also used a little bit of my Maybelline Tatoo Studio Cream Pomade in medium brown, which added some extra polish to my brows. And I also used my Almay Brow Styler to keep my brows in place. I've added in some detail by also feathering in my Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer along the top and bottom of my brows, which creates a more polished look. Then I used my Essence I Love Stage eyeshadow base for my eye primer. And of course, all of the products that I'm using will be listed in the description box below. So first, I'm going to be doing my face prep. I'll be using 4 products I use regularly from the brand I love, Timeless. Vitamin C plus E ferulic acid, which helps brighten my skin. Then my Timeless Co-enzyme Q10 serum, which helps build collagen and firm my skin. And then finally my Matrixyl Synthe 6 serum, which helps reduce wrinkles. All you really need of these is 2 or 3 drops of each, and I just use the vitamin C and E ferulic acid in the morning, and I don't use it around my eyes since it is an acid, but I use the other 2 products both morning and evening. And then I can't get along without my favorite moisturizer, which is Adele's Essentiel. It's an absolutely lovely antioxidant-rich botanical blend of essential oils and extracts. And by the way, there's a 20% off discount code for Adele's moisturizer in the description box if you're interested. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my skin prep right now. This is my Timeless CE Ferulic Acid. Just going to pump out a little bit on my hand, just a few drops, and I'm going to apply it all over my face except for my eye area. Next, I'm going to be applying my Coenzyme Q10 serum. Again, I'm just going to use 2 or 3 drops, and I'm just going to put a dot all around my face and then blend it in. If I didn't already have on my eyebrow products and my eye primer, I would also put a little bit of this in my brow area and slightly under my brow. I also bring it down onto my neck. And if I have any left over, I put a little bit on the back of my hands. Next, I'm using my Matrixyl Synthe 6. And again, I'm just going to apply it in strategic spots and blend it in. I noticed a really big difference in how my skin looked after using this for 6 or 7 weeks. I have a lot of redness, especially in the middle part of my face, and I really noticed that that really disappeared quite a bit after just a few weeks of use. And I live in a very dry climate, and this is just sinking into my skin instantly as I apply it. And then I'm going to use the rest on the back of my hands. And last, but certainly not least, very important addition to my skincare prep, and that's using my Adele Essential Moisturizer. It's going to dot, again, a little bit of this all over. Oh, it feels so good. And it has just a really very light but fresh scent that dissipates pretty quickly, but it really just feels so good. I also just use this on my hands constantly. I have a small bottle of it that I keep in my glove compartment of my car because I somehow always forget to put on my hand moisturizer before leaving the house. That is, if we ever get to leave our houses again. Next, I'm going to apply my eyeshadow. As I mentioned, I'll be using e.l.f.'s Bite-Size Eyeshadow in the color Carnival Candy. And I'll be mixing all 4 of the colors in this palette and creating gradations as well as diffusing the color. And all of these techniques help to create a more polished eyeshadow look. This look will be mostly neutral, as I mentioned earlier, but I will be adding a bit of the gorgeous blue. I also want to show you BH Cosmetics Glam Reflection Rosé Palette. I'll be mixing color and different formulations by using several different metallic colors from this BH Cosmetics palette. There's a lot of reflection here because it's a gorgeous mirror finish. Let me show you the inside of this palette. As you can see, it's a full range of neutral colors. And the formulation is really marvelous, as I mentioned. It blends in so easily. And often they have tremendous sales on the BH Cosmetics website. So often you can really get a wonderful deal on their eyeshadow palettes. I also want to show you their Glam Reflection La Amour palette, which unfortunately I don't think is available any longer. At least I didn't see it on their website. But it is gorgeous as well. There are also several other Glam Reflections palettes. I think there's a gold one, and then there was another one that was more colorful, but it was out of stock, at least when I looked at their website. It may be back in stock now. Here's what the inside looks like. You can see there's some beautiful reds in there and pinks, in addition to more neutral colors. I don't think I've really talked about BH Cosmetics on any of my previous videos, but it's an inexpensive brand which has absolutely fantastic eyeshadow formulas that truly rival high-end. So let me go ahead and start my eyeshadow. I'm going to start off with my e.l.f. Carnival Candy. I'm going to be mixing together these 2 lightest colors first, and I'm going to put those first in the crease area. Starting in the middle because I have the most product on my brush, and then I'm carrying it straight out to help lift my eyes. So as you can see, I'm starting to get a little bit of definition there with this particular eyeshadow combination. It's a really beautiful neutral, and I really love the fact that they've put in a couple of neutral brown beige colors and then a slightly deeper reddish beige, and then put in a touch of blue, because blue and brown is such a gorgeous combination. Now I'm going to take a slightly different brush that's more flat and dense, and I'm going to use that deepest brown just on the outer part of my eyes. I'm just going to use this color, this deeper brown, to create my backward 7 area on my eye. And it's looking messy, which is standard for this point in eyeshadow application. As you can see, I'm really just stamping it on the edge of my eyelid here first, carrying it up into my crease area and slightly above my crease area. And we're going to blend all of this in shortly. I'm going to take my blending brush and just blend it in. As you can see, it really is blending easily, and that's one of the things I always look for in a good eyeshadow, is not only good pigmentation, but that it's very easy to blend without looking splotchy. Then I'm going to take the slightly reddish brown, and I'm going to add that in so I have a gradient of color in my crease area. And just because I want a tiny bit, I'm going to use a pointed brush so I can apply it in a more detailed manner. Just want a very little bit, and I'm just going to start here, start in the middle, and then come toward my nose so I have a little bit less on. You'll notice that I'm taking my brush up toward my eyebrow because I have very little product on it at this point, but that really creates a gradient of color as I go up toward my eyebrow with less and less product on my brush. Now I'm going to take that gorgeous blue, which I absolutely cannot resist, and put that in the backward 7 area of my eye. It's going to really sort of just stamp it in that area, again with my flatter, denser brush, which helps deposit more product at one time more easily. And I'm going to take a clean brush, and I'm going to do a final sweep of this area to really blend it in, because good eyeshadow application is all about blending. Now we're not quite done because we're still going to move in toward the eyelids with the BH Cosmetics colors. So I'm going to be using the 3 lightest metallic colors on my eyelid area. I'm first, however, going to start off with that very light color on the top row and just put that all the way across my eyelid as a base. I'm going to put the metallic color right in the middle of my eyelid, which is going to really bring some more light to that area and give it a little oomph. I'm also going to add some light color from the palette right under my eyebrow area and on the inner corner of my eye. It's one of those extra details that makes a difference. So just under the arch of my eye, and this is a matte color. I just want a little bit to help lift my eye area. And then I'm going to put this on the inner corner of my eye as well. That's to get a little bit added light to that area. I like to put it all the way around the tear duct area. I'm going to tilt my head back a little bit so you can see where I've applied the metallic colors. I included a lighter metallic color in the middle of my eyelid, and then I used a slightly deeper metallic color just on the outer edge of my eyelids. I don't know how well this is showing up in the camera. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add some eyeliner next. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Age Perfect eyeliner in brown. As close to my lashes as I can. And then I'm going to smudge it with a brush. Then I'm also going to take a little bit of my e.l.f. eyeshadow and smudge the brown across here as well. Again, just to smudge out this area and make it look a little softer. Then I've gone ahead and applied 2 coats of mascara to my top lashes and also a coat of mascara to my bottom lash on this side. And I wanted to just show you how different it looks when you apply bottom lash mascara compared to when you don't. So you can see the huge difference between this eye and this eye where I have not applied the bottom lash mascara. And what the bottom lash mascara does is really give our eye more real estate, so it makes it look bigger. So I'm going to add mascara to my bottom lashes on my other eye. I'm using my Clinique bottom lash mascara, which I love, as a tiny little brush, so it enables me to really get in and reach these bottom lashes without having mascara get all over underneath my eyes. I also took one of my pointed brushes and I added a little bit of brown eyeshadow just underneath this area and feathered it out so you couldn't see a stop and start point. Next, let's go to face primer. I'll be mixing 2 different face primers to create 2 different effects for a more customized look. I'm using Pixie's Flawless Beauty Primer, which is a brightening primer first, but just on my cheekbone area. And then I'll be cheating a little bit by using Eve Pearl's Priming Moisturizer treatment on the rest of my face as my primer, since I unfortunately don't have a drugstore moisturizing primer. This is the Pixie product right here. It really is a brightening primer, so I'm going to be very careful with it and just apply it in the area where I definitely want some more brightness, which is my cheekbone area. And then I'm going to apply the rest of my primer, which is my Eve Pearl primer, which I love because it's also moisturizing. I'm going to apply that to the rest of my face. And what the primer will do is keep your makeup looking better longer. That's basically the whole function of primer. But they're all different primers that accomplish different things. There's some that are moisturizing like this one, and there's some that actually help color correct. There's some primers that are more mattifying. There's some that give glow. They're all different kinds of primers out there. Now we're going to go ahead with foundation. This is the L'Oreal Age Perfect foundation, and this is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate foundation. And I'm going to mix them together and then just dot first where I want the most coverage, and then just little dots on the rest of my face. Next, I'm going to be blending in my foundation. Using my Eve Pearl foundation brush, which is really wonderfully soft, feels so good. And I also love it that it's angled so it fits into all those interesting little nooks and crannies on my face. I'm going to bring it down onto my neck area, very important, so you really blend it in all the way down and into my ear area as well, especially if you're going to be wearing your hair up or back. I think you can see that there's a little bit more of a brightening effect where I applied the brightening primer in my cheekbone area than on the rest of my face. I don't know how much that's picking up on the camera. Next, I'm going to use Pixi by Petra's Brightening Peach Corrector under my eyes to help hide my dark circles. Then I'll tap lightly some of my L'Oreal Age Perfect Concealer in Ivory on top of it. Just going to take a little bit of it on my concealer brush and just go right into those areas where I have the greatest purple or blue kind of coloration under my eyes, which for me is on the inner corner primarily of my eyes and on the outer corner as well. And then I'm going to take my ring finger and I'm just going to gently press that in so it kind of melts into the skin. And what we're trying to do is really color correct and effectively hide those red and bluish purplish colors that create that look of the dark circles. Then I'm taking some of my concealer on the back of my hand and then I'm just lightly dotting that over the corrector. Now, I do want the concealer to stay in place without creasing. So one of the things that's necessary to do in order to prevent creasing, at least for me, and it's different for all of us and what's effective and what is not, but for many of us, we can help prevent creasing by putting just a little bit of translucent powder right under that area very quickly after we've applied it. And I'm going to go back over it to make sure that there's no creasing going on before I apply the powder. And then I'm just sort of gently pushing the powder in rather than rubbing it. Do that to the other eye as well. Make sure that there are no creases before I put the powder on, and then gently push it. Now you can sort of finger press too if you'd rather put the powder on your finger and press in. That's an effective way to do it also. So I think we've finished up the under eye area. It's not a total problem solver, but it certainly does help. Next, I'm going to layer my light and dark contour, blush, and highlighter. First, I'm going to use a cream formula, then a slight bit of powder over the cream, followed by powder bronzer, powder blush, and powder highlighter. This will keep the blush and highlighter in place longer and also create a more custom look. I'll put the darker colors on first and then the lighter colors on top. I'll be doing my contouring first, and I'm going to use my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer first as my light contouring. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this right here down the center of my nose. I want this area to come forward rather than recede and look darker. And then I'm going to put a little bit here and a little bit under my eye area. I'll blend that in thoroughly. I really like the feel of this e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. They have a regular camo concealer, but it's a little bit more drying. And for most of us, if we have drier skin, we want to stick with a more hydrating formula. So I put the contour, the light contour, down the center of my face basically, and then also put some here to help those nasolabial folds come forward slightly rather than look darker by looking deeper in my skin. For my dark contouring, I'm going to be using this e.l.f. contour palette. These are all cream products, and as you can see, there is a light contour cream in here. The reason I didn't use that is because it has a slight yellow tinge to it, which doesn't work quite as well with my skin tone as the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer does. I'm first going to go to the very bottom and take the lighter contouring color, and I'm just going to apply that at the very base of my cheekbone. And then I'm also going to apply some along my jawline to make that look a little more toned and firmer. A little bit along the top of my forehead since I have a pretty high forehead. Always blending it up. And why do I always end up making funny faces as I do this? Do you do that? Okay, and then along my jawline, I want to again bring it down toward my chin. And I want to make sure I blend in this part on my forehead as well. Now that I've put my cream contouring product on, I'm going to go ahead and put my cream blush products on, and then I'll put my cream highlighter on. I'm going to combine two Maybelline products for my cream blush. Unfortunately, I don't think they're available any longer. They're called Master Glaze, and let me show you the colors. As you can see, one is a very light pink and one's a more medium pink, and I'm going to combine those two to get the color I want. I'm going to put a little bit of this Clinique 72-Hour Moisture Cream on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to dip the two different cream blushes into that to get the color I want, and so it will spread more easily. I'm going to start right here about the middle of my cheek and just put a tiny bit here. You can always build it. You don't want to get too much color, more than I want initially, and I'm gradually building a little bit more color. And we'll match it on this side, hopefully. Okay, that added just a little bit of flush to my cheeks, which is exactly what I was looking for. That combination worked pretty well. I'm going to do the same thing with my cream highlighter. This is from Wet n Wild. It's called their Illuminator. I'm going to take a little bit of this with my finger and rub it into the moisturizer on the back of my hand, and then apply this just above where I applied the blush to the top of my cheekbone area. And as you can see, that's just adding a slight glow. It's not overwhelming. It's just pretty soft, and I like the impact that the moisturizer is having too. That adds some additional glow to the look. So my cream highlighter is Wet n Wild's Mega Glow Highlighter in When the Nude Strikes. So now that we have all of our cream products on, we have our contour, we have our blush, and we have our highlighter, I'm going to go ahead and add a second layer of contour, highlighter, and blush so I can ensure that it stays on longer. So in order to do that, I don't want to put powder right on top of cream. So I'm going to apply just a tiny bit of translucent powder over the areas where I applied my cream contour and my cream blush. Then I'm going to come back in and apply a little bit of powder bronzer and a little bit of powder blush, just so they stay in place longer. I'm cheating a little bit because I'm using my Laura Mercier powder, my translucent powder, rather than a drugstore variety. I have not yet had a chance to purchase the drugstore powder that I want to purchase, which is the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. I've heard wonderful things about it. So I'm going ahead and putting some powder on my brush, and I'm tapping it off very thoroughly because I don't want to use a lot. I'm going to put it along my nose, the middle of my forehead, just in my T-zone area, just to help keep oiliness at bay in that area. And then I'm just going to press it in to the areas where I use blush and bronzer. I don't want to cover up the highlighter. That provides the basis for applying my powder products. So I'm going into this Physicians Formula collection of bronzer and blush, and I'm going to be applying just the tiniest bit of powder bronzer. And also doing along my jawline. And a little bit along my forehead too. Next, I'm going to use this brush for the powder blush, Ooh, that's hard to say. Blush is what seems to disappear easily. So this double layering technique really helps keep our blush in place for a longer period of time. And last but not least, I'm going to add a little bit of powder highlighter. I'm first going in with a little bit of pink highlighter. And then I'm going to go in with a lighter color. It's called Pearl. So I think you can see that really amped up the highlighter, and I may want to calm it down actually a little bit with my makeup sponge. Now let's try just a few other details which help create a flawless, polished look. I'm going to add a little blush and highlighter above my brows and a little cream highlighter above the cupid's bow of my mouth. Also a little bit of powder highlighter on the inner corner of my eyes and a little powder bronzer below my lower lip. Adding this type of detail really takes our makeup look to the next level. I'm first adding a little bit of cream highlighter above my cupid's bow of my lips. I'm taking some of the highlighter and putting it on the inner corner of my eyes just to add a little bit more glow there. Add a little bit of that above my cupid's bow as well. Take a little bit of the bronzer color and put it underneath my lower lip, which just extends my lip line a little bit to make my lips look a little fuller. Then I'm going to take my brush with a little bit of translucent powder on it and just go over that area so it blends in. Next, I'll take my makeup sponge to make everything look seamless. What I'm going to do is just pat it over all the edges. And not only does this help make everything blend together, meld together and look seamless, but it also feels terrific, especially on a hot day. So this is feeling really good, especially under the filming lights in this studio. And if you feel like you've added a little too much of anything, this can also help sheer it out. The other thing I wanted to do is just add a little bit of blush and highlight above my eye area, and this kind of makes everything come together in that area. Take a little bit of the highlight as well, just a little bit above the eyebrows and here. And again, I'll pat this all in to make it all blend together. And last but not least, I'll apply my lipstick. First, I'm going to apply my Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer around my lip area, and then I'll be using L'Oreal's Age Perfect Lip Liner in Bold Orchid. I'll be adding an extra layer of this lip liner in the area where I tend to have my deepest vertical lines around my lips to provide some extra protection to prevent my lipstick from migrating into those lines. I'll also mix together colors from L'Oreal's Age Perfect Makeup Line lipsticks in Vibrant Fuchsia and Pinot Noir. Then I'll follow this with a touch of my CoverGirl Lip Lava Gloss. So first I'm putting my Maybelline product on. This is my concealer. This also helps create a barrier from lipstick feathering. Then I'll be using the L'Oreal Age Perfect Lip Liner in Bold Orchid. And as I mentioned, I put an extra line in the areas here and here where my lipstick really tends to migrate. So I've gone ahead and changed my earrings and put on a different top to hopefully create a little bit more polished look than what I was wearing before. So we've just covered a lot of options that we can use to create an upscale, high-end look with drugstore products. And goodness knows we may never use all of these steps, but hopefully a few of these techniques will provide some inspiration and come in handy to create a really polished, lovely look. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Doing so really makes a difference in helping my channel grow. And what growing my channel means is that I'll be better able to test out and share with you more great new beauty products. As I mentioned earlier, I hope you'll share in the comments section below any great bargain finds that you've found over the years. I really appreciate getting to know all of you so much better through your comments, and I hope sharing information about some of your treasured bargains will be especially fun. Thank you so much for being part of our wonderful family, and I so wish you happiness and health and hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Take care.